This guy urinated blood just to win a TV show. His name was Ryan Benson. His crime was obesity. His punishment? Starvation. The show was called The Biggest Loser, where contestants were screamed at, starved, and chemically altered to lose as much weight as possible for money.
People like making fun of fat people.
And producers loved that. They were like, we want them to puke. We want the madness of it all.
It ran for 17 seasons, earned NBC over $1 billion, and left hundreds of people psychologically and physically destroyed. They weighed shirtless contestants on national TV for shock value. They forced contestants to dehydrate so aggressively that one of them collapsed during the first challenge and was airlifted to a hospital.
They had to call a helicopter to pick Tracy up off the beach and take her to a hospital.
Some contestants were allegedly given Adderall and ephedra. One said they were told to down baking soda to balance their dehydration.
She says the show's resident physician, Dr. Robert Huizinga, told her to take baking soda, she believes, to retain her water weight.
This is reality TV's most unethical health experiment, and this is how it broke almost every rule of medicine, science, and basic human decency all along the way.
All my life, I want to be the biggest loser. Work me till the day I die.
First, it was a drug scandal that nearly destroyed the franchise and triggered a police investigation. The producers silenced critics, covered their tracks, and then tried to reboot it all with the shiny wellness rebrand. Millions of viewers saw people drop 20 pounds in a week and thought, why can't I do that? They didn't know the show faked the timelines, rigged the weigh-ins, and forced contestants into 800-calorie diets while exercising 8 hours a day. They didn't see the lawsuits, or the drug use, or the deaths. But one contestant did try to speak out, and she said the experience felt like being raped by the weight loss industry. Her name was Joel Gwynn. She blew the whistle on what she said really happened on The Biggest Loser. And it's one of the darkest reality TV stories you've never heard. We'll get there. But first,
Rachel went from 260 to 105 pounds, losing 155 pounds in just 7 months.
In 2004, The Biggest Loser launched with a simple formula. Take overweight people, lock them on a ranch, scream at them until they collapse, and reward the last one standing with $250,000. And every week, the same shot, a sobbing contestant stepping onto a giant scale in front of a live studio audience. They called it empowerment, but let's call it what it really was: humiliation porn. Contestants were isolated from their families, because when you isolate someone, sleep deprive them, starve them, and force them to compete for food, you get breakdowns. And breakdowns, as we know, make great TV. Every weigh-in was a lie. The weekly weight loss they showed was actually filmed over multiple weeks.
And their weeks are not actual weeks. 20 days later that you see somebody dropping 30 pounds.
But you haven't even heard the worst part yet. Former finalist Cal Hibbert said, "My feet were bleeding through my shoes, and my doctor was shocked I could still walk." Contestant Tracy Yukich collapsed from heat stroke during the first challenge and was airlifted to the hospital. 2 weeks in the ICU.
They had to call a helicopter to pick Tracy up off the beach and take her to a hospital.
But she came back and finished the show anyway. But the producers didn't stop there. They created temptation challenges, scattering cupcakes and candy everywhere just to watch contestants fail on camera.
But by the end of it, you really hate yourself for it. And that's the way I felt after eating all those cupcakes.
Contestants like Suzanne were allegedly told to take baking soda to stop dehydration symptoms.
Robert Huizinga told her to take baking soda, she believes, to retain her water weight.
Others claim they were pushed to take diuretics. Suzanne said she was told her body had to be marketable before she could win. In 2016, Joelle Gwynn from Season 8 broke her silence. She alleged that Bob Harper's assistant handed her a brown paper bag filled with Adderall and Yellow Jacket pills containing ephedra, a dangerous stimulant banned by the FDA since 2004. She was told that it would really help with her weight loss. Naturally, NBC denied it, and so did Bob Harper. But an internal investigation had been underway since 2008, long before the public ever found out, and then came the lawsuit. Dr. Robert Huizinga, the show's physician, sued the New York Post for defamation over the drug allegations. But his case fell apart in court. The judge ruled that Joelle had every right to speak out. That same year, the show disappeared. No official cancellation, no statement, no wrap party. In 2016, the public finally got scientific proof of what former contestants had been saying for years. The National Institute of Health followed 14 Biggest Loser contestants for 6 years. What they found?
What happened? Their resting metabolic rate dropped by 500 calories a day on average. This was a 275 calorie a day lower than predicted. This was severe metabolic adaptation. As an example, 6 years later, most had regained the weight and their resting metabolic rates were still suppressed.
Once the cameras cut, the stories got darker. Kai Hibbard says she lost her period, her hair, and her grip on reality.
I left with a very poor mental body image.
Danny Cahill, who dropped 239 pounds on national TV, had to eat 800 fewer calories a day than someone his size just to avoid gaining weight. And gain weight he did, like most of the others. If you need a moment that shattered the illusion of health, this was it. Rachel Fredrickson walks on stage. She dropped 260 pounds, down to 105. That's 60% of her body weight gone in months. Her BMI, 17.5. That's below the healthy range. That's borderline anorexic. When former contestant Tara Costa gained weight after her season, her endorsement company sued her because her contract said she had to maintain her current level of fitness and conditioning. Just think about that, okay? A woman got sued for gaining weight after a show that permanently damaged her metabolism. Still, in 2020, NBC tried to bring it back. Same name, new branding, the wellness reboot. They promised things would be different. More doctors, less screaming, no dangerous crash diets. This time it was about total health, but it was all just the same game. Contestants were put on meal plans, still measured by weekly weight loss, still pushed to lose big numbers fast for weekly elimination rounds. They just changed the lighting. Trainers now set things like mindfulness and long-term goals. But the cameras still zoomed in on shirtless weigh-ins, still tracked pounds lost like stock prices, still rewarded the biggest drops with applause. Ratings tanked. The reboot quietly died after just one season because the world had changed. And finally, so had the tolerance for fat shaming disguised as fitness. The trainers were loud and the transformations were extreme, but the real villains were these producers who knowingly pushed contestants past medical limits. They used manipulation, dehydration, and overexercise as strategy. Allegedly enabled drug use while pretending it was all natural. Faked timelines and hid injuries just to keep the cameras rolling. And worst of all, made viewers believe it was the contestants' fault when their bodies broke down. So when we ask why this show matters, it's because millions of people watched, and they believed it. They clapped when people fainted. They cried during weigh-ins. They internalized the lie that pain equals progress. But you can't bully people into health or edit starvation into a success story. So if you ever feel like a failure for gaining weight, know that even the winners of The Biggest Loser couldn't keep it off. Because the show was never built for healing. It was built for ratings. And that's the real weight that we've got to lose. Should shows like The Biggest Loser be banned from coming back? Or do they just need to evolve? Let us know what you think in the comments down below. And if you think more people need to know this story, share this video. Because if you thought this was bad, wait till you see what MTV's Super Sweet 16 got away with.